In terms of business, brought in first capital and cash budgets to stop some of the cash bleeding that was going on when I came. Day one here, the balance sheet was fairly depleted. We had a lot of money in the markets with our stockbroker, with our endowment manager, outsourced portfolio manager. But the balance sheet was pretty thin in terms of working capital, in terms of cash, liquidity, and so instituted some financial controls to get us on track. Cash budget, forecasting cash budgets, capital budgets, living within and under our means so that we could also save money. Prior to that, if they ran out of money, they would go to the portfolio and just take it out of the market, and that was the cash source. And there was no real regulations or controls on cash flow. And it was depleting the cash of the Abbey long term. So what we've done is, in my first 2 years here, I was able to increase working capital 71% just by putting budgets in place. We went now to an operating budget, line item, percentage of sales, and we manage those line items, and we keep things in line, and we make sure that we're not overspending, and we live within our means, and just basic budgeting on operational cash capital budgets has made a huge difference in terms of profitability as we've taken on labor costs. The big challenge has been, the big change in the 6 years that I've been here is we now have payroll costs. That was the competitive advantage of Monk's Bread prior to this new era of having to have employees. When you had no labor costs, it was all Monks doing the work. You didn't have payroll, 401k, health insurance, all of the things that go in, workers' comp, and all of the different costs that go into running a business. So I think my greatest contribution has been able to truly bring us fiscally into a new era of being profitable without that competitive advantage of Monk labor, and keep us competitive in the market, not on price point only, but on quality of product and our brand. Three years ago, as the Obama administration came into power, that coincided with some food industry failures, spinach and some other outbreaks of disease. The risk of terrorism and the food supply in America has been an issue since 9/11. That has affected the food industry, and the Food Safety Modernization Act was pioneered by the Obama administration, but that hasn't affected us as much as private industry concerns. Walmart led the way to say we want safe food in our stores, and so anyone that produces food for Walmart in the beginning had to have a Global Food Safety Initiative certification. The Abbey of the Genesee has been making bread the same way for 50 years, and so it came one day we got an email from Bimbo, from our distributor, saying you need to have a food safety sanitation audit. We didn't even know what that was, okay, at that time. We had the federal, USDA and state Department of Health, local Department of Health inspections. We had no idea in terms of the sanitation and safety standards that would be involved in a global food audit, which is like an ISO standard for manufacturing food. So that was a learning curve, and we had to put quite a bit of capital into building facilities for employees to meet codes on that. The cleaning, the record keeping, the planning, the HACCP knowledge, technical knowledge, all of these things cost money. I had to go and get a certification to be a HACCP planner. We need to do research. We have to send our bread out and have lab work done on it. We have a lot of things, and then just ongoing payroll of over $100,000 a year changed the nature of our profit margin. And so not foreseeing this coming years ago, as the sales were pulled down for spiritual reasons, now the costs, not only because of the monks as a population decreasing and having to have more employees to help, but also regulation, the threat of regulation from government decisions about the food supply was an unforeseen risk, and so it left us in a position where we had given up market share, and now we're playing catch up.